PEP Radio is a part of the Pennsylvania Equality Project that plays music, news, and weather, actively advocating for the LGBTQ+ and disabled since 2024.
PEP Radio, available on Live 365, Roku, Alexa, and at paquality.com.
Here at Gay SA Radio, we're very happy to welcome the Othering podcast to our airwaves. Catch the show every Thursday at noon CAT, bringing fresh voices and compelling conversations straight to you.
Head over to gsaradio.stream to find out how you can tune in and become part of our family. Don't miss it, only on Gay SA Radio, where you are family.
One man and one woman join forces to rid the world
What are you doing?
of inequality and fascism.
Seriously?
I'm trying I'm trying to do a promo here.
For whom? What are you doing?
Welcome to the Othering Podcast with Mike and Dory. Okay, today we are talking to Erin Perkins. Erin is the CEO of MabelyQ and the deaf-blind founder of Successable, the accessibility assistant built for creators. She's building the tools she always needed, making accessibility clear and easy to apply. Her goal is to make accessible content creation feel as simple as using spellcheck, which is a very needed tool. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Welcome, Erin.
So needed.
Very.
Needed. Thank you. Love that. Now I actually really like that introduction. My favorite one thus far.
It's a really good one.
And I read that without stumbling like I usually do, so it's really good.
Love it.
So,
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to get right into it. Since I mentioned it, do you want to kind of talk about Successable? Explain a little bit more
Sure.
about it?
So when I was working in a new to me website platform, I do graphic design. My always background I've always done in my entire life. And so I still do that for fun. Now working on this new website platform, I hadn't really worked on it. And then it's a new brand to me. And then I'm sitting there, I'm like, all right, I gotta go check all the colors, see what is compatible with what, meet the color contrast. I'm like, why is there not a tool for this? It's all outside of it. You have to, I already have, right now, I have, maybe 15 tabs open, but that's just for me. That doesn't count for my client. How many tabs? I was like, I need a tool to help me with it while I create. Because it's going to make life easier. So I met with a couple of developers. First guy was like, no way. No one couldn't pay money for an extension. And I was just I was so mad after that. I was just like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you. And then I reached out to my network. I'm like, I need to talk to somebody. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not a tech founder. And then I got introduced to this company, this woman, and she was like, "Fuck yeah, let's do this." I was like, "Yeah." So I had to put it on pause, and then I was like, you know what? There's no time like today. So we just started. I just started doing the demo in November, and it's been gaining traction.
Good.
That's awesome.
It is very awesome. I'm excited to see this and be able to use it, and because I think it would be beneficial to everybody to be able to use it, which is the beauty of, when you're disabled, everything that's made for us ends up becoming universal for everyone else. Sometimes it's a little annoying because it's like, well, it was made for us first, but at the same time it's nice because it helps so much. And sometimes so many of us fall through the cracks, don't realize we're at all disabled until much later in life. And it's like those little things helped me to, get the grades that I could or be able to go to college or things like that. And I think that yours is going to be in that echelon, that upper echelon of excellence, because that's going to be, I think, incredibly huge. And at least I hope so too.
Thank you. Like I this is like truly the first time that I'm like in my gut, this has to be huge. Like it has to be. Like I've never thought about any part of my business like this ever before, but like the moment that developer was like, yeah, let's start building it, I was like, hi. And we just like kept going, and I was just like, and I've gone off in the spiral, but the biggest thing is like I can relate to, my husband can actually relate to discovering that he had ADHD much later in life, and he had just like such huge anger about it because he's like, my life could have been so much easier in school. Like it's so frustrating.
Yep.
But now he's able to manage it a lot better. And then two fun facts, like testing was invented by deaf people. Like we tested first, and that was our primary mode of communication through phone. I didn't have an actual cell phone. I had like one of those little pagers, and me and my friends would text. And now everybody does it. I was like, it was created for us first, you know,
Exactly.
that kind of thing. So yeah, it's
So-
totally true.
Back in the day, I was doing graphic design and I was doing websites, and this was before Dory had her disability as bad as it is today, and before I really thought much about me being disabled in any way. And I'll admit, thinking about accessibility on a website was one of the last things I did at the time. So I'm sure it affected a lot of my views out there. So having that ability for you to get that add-on to help the viewer is going to be huge for sure.
Yeah, most errors tend to be the color contrast.
Yep.
It's like so simple. And here's what's ironic, because now I'm like working with the developer with like, I'm very adamant about picking the right colors. The problem is, when you think about critical errors, what color do you think of?
Red.
Okay. Now, what about warning errors?
Yellow.
Yeah.
All right. Yellow is the worst color
Yep.
you could pick. You can use yellow on a black, but not everyone is in dark mode. I like my phone to be like very like in the daytime is white, is light mode, and then nighttime is dark mode. But yellow is the worst color.
Yes.
So now I'm like, I think I'm just gonna create my own colors, like color system like that is critical and warning, because that's not gonna work. Like it's just not gonna work. Even orange is really hard to meet for the color standard. And just so you know, I did get an actual preview of the tool, so I can totally show it to you guys.
Ooh,
Oh, that would
that's
be awesome.
awesome. I'm so excited. And you're right. It's like, since my eyes have gotten worse, and I can't always see blue and red very clearly. Like I can see it. It's obviously blue to me and red to me, but when it's like those neon signs for like Firestone or anything like that, I have troubles reading it because the blues and the reds just don't like
And then blur.
yeah, they
together.
blur. It's almost as if they're constantly moving and they won't settle down so I can actually read the words. And to me, using yellow on a website is the exact same way of it doesn't settle so that you can actually read the words. It just seems to constantly be moving everywhere. And it frustrates me. So going to a website and, you know, it's in these colors that might be great for like fashion, but trying to look at it, trying to read it, and it's difficult to, I just want to skip the website and just be like, I'll find something else because I can't read it. It's angering. It's annoying. And it's just like, well, if you can't even make it for me to read, I can't imagine the horror for somebody who has eyesight worse than mine.
Yeah.
And
I mean, think about it. Like, what if you were... people are colorblind.
yeah,
So, like, people can't... like there's a lot. I always feel bad for people who can't see red or green. But they probably don't even know any better. It's like me being deaf. They're like, oh, I feel bad for you because you can't hear. You're not hearing. And I'm like, I don't know my life any different. Like, I am totally fine being this way. So people who can't see red and green are probably like, this is okay. It's not a big deal. They're probably the ones that invented multicolored lights for Christmas rather than just red or green. So that's why it's like, when we design, we need to really kind of be thoughtful about whether or not that design looks great in black and white. If it looks great in black and white, it's gonna work. And that's where somebody had to remind me to be like, just think about it, the whole design in black and white. If that works, it's gonna work. And then add the color in later. I'm like, but I'm so obsessed with color. As you can see in my background, I love
gorgeous.
color.
Yeah.
I love what you did. It's absolutely breathtaking. And that blue, it's like the perfect blue shade.
It is the perfect blue, isn't it?
Yes. You're going to have to tell me what color that is because I'm going to want to put that somewhere in my house.
For the listener, it's a blue wall. It's like a midnight blue kind of, I guess
Navy.
is a good way to explain it. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like a navy
Like a
blue.
navy blue.
Like it's rich, but it's not so dark that you're like, is that black?
Right.
Or no,
Yeah.
it's like a clear navy blue.
And
Yeah.
there's lots of
I think
colorful
I have
framed
the tag
pictures.
somewhere.
Lots of colorful framed pictures on the wall, and then two comfy looking beach chairs in front of it.
Yes, they do kind of look like a
I
relaxing
want to go on vacation
beach.
now.
Yeah, it does kind of remind me of a vacation. And
My husband loved those chairs. I hate those chairs. They look great, but they're not comfortable at
Yeah.
all.
I can
They
understand
were
that.
in our living room at first, and I replaced them with some really comfortable swivel chairs. So I'm like,
I like that. Though.
So you had mentioned that you've been deaf your entire life. Has that gotten worse or changed at all throughout your life, or has it been the same since birth?
it's definitely changed a lot because when I was a kid, I used to be able to talk on the phone with no problem. Like I would be able to call my friend, so my hearing had progressively got worse. When I was 29 years old, I ended up getting a cochlear implant because I started panicking in the fact that what if my vision got worse? Because so I didn't find out about my vision, peripheral vision. Because no one talked about the fact that you're actually supposed to be able to see the person sitting next to you. I didn't know that. Like, so you guys, you can see each other, but if I had someone sitting next to me, I would not see them. So I found that out at 21, and that doctor told me I would be blind in 10 years. So at 29, I started panicking. I'm like, what if my vision just like went away? Like, I need something. I have this fear of being like isolated because, I'm deaf. I can't see, that kind of thing. So I got the cochlear implant. It was fine, but I actually really hate it. Like, I hate it because it picked up so much high frequency, and that's not a sound that I was used to growing up because I always heard low frequency. So I am usually like, oh my God, how do you guys hear all of this stuff? Because I am not, as a deaf person, we don't know how to filter sound out. Like, we don't, like, he'll be like, oh, this is normal. And I'm just like, that is so bothersome. So it's really interesting for me to be like, I can hear, but I 100% would rather be deaf, completely deaf. Like, I usually go without my hearing aid almost every day until I have to be on podcasts like this.
I understand that. Honestly, there are times growing up that I wish that I don't mean it the way it might sound, but I wish I had been deaf because there are times when
Things you
I
just
would
don't want to hear.
try to focus on my teachers, but I would hear everything going on behind me. And it was just like I couldn't focus. Now I understand why. It's because I have autism and ADHD. But at the time, I didn't know that because I was overlooked for that. And so I just thought I would like to be able to communicate with my hands and just do it that way and not rely on my hearing, because sometimes I could hear, sometimes I couldn't, and I would be like, I don't understand what you're saying. You could say it 10 times and I would still be like, what are you saying? And I didn't understand that it wasn't necessarily my brain going nuts. It was just all of these things that I didn't know were there. And so there were times when I wished that I just could not hear, because I felt like it would be easier, because then I wouldn't be so overwhelmed and I could actually
I mean, that's
yeah.
that's why a lot of people with autism tend to wear like noise canceling headphones, just so they can just not be distracted by all the sound and stuff like that. I mean, but obviously that was probably something that was much later in life as they learn and be like, oh, headphones are a great idea. So yeah, I used to take off my hearing aid and I can't hear at all. It's great.
Now, so since you've been deaf since birth, were you able to access learning sign language, or was that something that came later? Because
Oh, I am so lucky that my parents. So I have an older deaf sister as well. She's 2 years older than me, and it actually took a little bit for my parents to figure out that we were both deaf. They were like, but like I would still react to something, then I wouldn't hear something. But we ended up being placed in a school like from the age of 2, and we started learning sign language. We started learning how to talk as well. They made sure we had access to that. And that's the big reason why we ended up moving from Pennsylvania, because my parents did go all over the East Coast to find a deaf school for us to make sure we had access to that. I'm very, very lucky that my parents made sure of that, because a lot of my friends I met in college, most of them didn't have access to sign language until they were 18. I'm like, how did you survive high school?
yeah,
Because you have to really focus and listen now. And then back then in the 90s, teachers were writing on blackboard with their back face still. So glad, really grateful, because I grew up with having interpreters in my school all the time.
and I'm glad that you had that, because I know that there are a lot of people that unfortunately do not get a chance to even learn basics of thank you or hello in sign language. And I always thought that was strange, because maybe I'm just crazy or something, but I always thought that we should know Spanish and sign language. Shut up, Mike. Because, you know, in our country, a lot of Spaniards were here, and also, why not find a way to communicate with deaf people? There's going to be somebody in this country that is deaf, and we should all be able to communicate with them. Or even if, like, autistic people who are just having those meltdowns, those moments where everything just shuts down. Yes.
To communicate. That is one, I think the biggest issue of that is actually medical. When the doctor does the hearing test these days, if they figure out that the kid is deaf, oh, I'm sorry, your kid is deaf. What? Why are you sorry? Like, it just means that they can't hear. It doesn't mean anything else. Doesn't mean they're stupid. And I think that's the biggest problem, is the medical community, they are designed to want to fix things. They don't want to figure out other solutions. I'm sure, like, with autism or ADHD, they're trying to fix it. They're trying to fix something in your brain, but sometimes it's like, why not just let it be and let's adapt to that?
Right. I think it would be much better, easier to adapt to those things than to try and force everybody into a shoebox that just doesn't work.
Yeah, we're not robots.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
We're not robots.
I wear size 8.5. Mike wears size 14. And making him
13.
whatever, making him try to fit in my shoes would not make sense. That would disable him in so many ways. And I feel like that's how the medical system kind of treats us is that we all have to fit in these tiny little boxes. And it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
So I have a strange question. I have tinnitus, and I went to the doctor about that, and they said that the reason I have that is because I am deaf to a certain frequency, a certain tone. And it's my brain, it's kind of like my brain's way of making, it's almost like phantom pain and a missing limb. It's my brain's way of making up for the sound that I can't hear. So when you take out your hearing aid, do you hear any unusual sound?
I've never had that.
You've never had anything like that?
Until last fall. I started taking antidepressant medicine. Last year was not a fun year for me. And all of a sudden, I told my therapist, like, I swear to you, I keep hearing classical music in my head. And then she said it was like it's your way of your brain trying to make sound because you're not. So, but like, I do experience tinnitus from time to time, but it's not constant. Like, not like some, but I have a lot of friends who have it, and they're like, you eventually just get used to it. And it sucks, but
Yeah, it sucks.
yeah.
I guess I've gotten somewhat used to it, but it still drives me crazy. But that just doesn't make sense why they would say that that's the cause when other people that are deaf to certain tones, it doesn't work. It doesn't do it.
Create
Yeah.
something which I think makes sense. But like I know some people are actually jealous that classical music plays in my head. I'm just like, it has caught me, it thrown me for a loop that I'm just like, I'm not used to it. But every now and then I'm like, okay, this is cool. At least it's music. It's not like ringing in your ears. So
Yes.
Yeah.
take a win.
Yes, because I would rather classical music, Bach, Beethoven, Brahms, playing in my
It's weird
head.
because I don't listen to classical music. So weird.
But it's maybe you're creating your own symphony.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, the brain is very, very, very weird. And it's still, I think they've only mapped out maybe a tenth of it type of thing. I mean, there's just so much that our brains can do and can't do that they don't know everything about it yet. So, I mean, who's to say that the tinnitus isn't some sort of way of making a sound because, like you said, it's, since it's been taken from you and you used to be able to hear it, your brain is like, well, I got to replace it. Or, in the case of music, it's like, well, you didn't hear it this way before, but now let's make it different. Let's make it like this.
Well, I don't like the brain for that.
The brain is so cool because, like, so my husband is a musician, and which is weird as like a deaf person. I don't know how I married someone who's a musician, but like when I got my hearing aid and I got the cochlear implant, so the way it happened is that you can't actually hear like everybody does. It processed through your brain. So I prefer wearing a cochlear with my hearing aid because, like, to me, it's like how he said it. Like when he makes music, it's like trying to create music that comes through the speakers in different ways. And then when you listen to it, it sounds really cool. So that's like how this works is like it picks up down, and then it like makes it, and then it makes it sound normal to me. If I just had my implant on, everybody sounds like Mickey Mouse. I hate it. So I have to wear both. I can't just wear the cochlear implant by itself.
I don't blame you for not wanting to do that. It would drive me nuts if everybody sounded like Mickey Mouse.
But that's
maybe if I was a kid.
Yeah, that would be cool as a kid, but not as an adult. Ooh.
That's really interesting. I never would have guessed that or never would have known that.
Yeah, Mickey doesn't
you have
a
to
sexy voice.
relearn how things sound when they wipe out. So basically, in your cochlea, they wipe out all the hairs in there. But now, I think with the new technology, they can actually preserve whatever hearing you have left. But mine, they wiped it out. So it's like your brain has to rewire to really learn how to hear again. You literally have to work to understand words. It's like a kid going back to being a baby and understanding what words are is like a lot of work, actually.
Wow.
That is a lot of work, but you've mastered it.
Yeah. Did
I
you
mean,
have?
when you're talking?
I have passion.
Well, that yeah, but that helps. But still, you make it so easy when you do your sign language, when you're talking to us, everything. Just you do it so well and so beautifully. It's like it is amazing, and not in the inspiration porn type of amazing, but just you are really good at that, and you make it really simple and easy looking.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. I totally get the whole inspiration point thing because like when we're like as a disabled community, we're like, you're awesome, but it's not inspiration point, but yeah, like I totally get that.
Yeah, because I don't want anybody to feel like they're inspiration porn. I mean, it's nice to feel like you're inspiring people, but not because you're just.
They feel sorry for you.
Yeah.
I feel like inspiration point is more of like when they feel bad for you and they're like, oh, yay, they can hear again. And it's
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe I'm again, talking at a turn, but I think that our disabilities not only are what makes us awesome and beautiful, but I don't want us to always focus on trying to find a cure. Maybe a way to survive it. Yes, I would love to get rid of my pain, at least dull it, but being in the wheelchair, having the problems that I have, has made me, and I've said this times before, but I'll say it again, but it's made me meet some of the absolute bestest people I have ever met in my life. And if it means that I have to cut my legs off to do that in order to be able to stay talking with people like you, then I would do that. I mean, not literally, of course, because that would just be a whole other issue, but I just don't want to be cured in the way of, I can walk 100% again. It's not my goal.
I can totally relate to that because in October of 2025, I met up with another friend who had the same condition I do with Usher Syndrome. And we both went to this event that was about the condition and they're constantly trying to find a cure. And it was fascinating because he and I are so immersed in deaf culture that it's like part of us. Like we're both like, if you could fist out him, we're like, no. But we have no problem if you could fist out sight. Like, please, by all means, fist out vision, even if it's just locking it into what I can see now. Like, I'm totally fine with that. But please don't fist my deafness. Like, we're both like that. But it felt like everybody out there was very much like, please fist everything. And it was fascinating to me to be in that situation where I felt like both of us were like, but I like the deaf community. That's like my community. That's my culture. So it's very interesting for sure.
And for both of you, it's kind of changing who you are, changing you as a person.
Yes.
And you want to be who you are, and you want to be unique. You want to be you.
Right. And I think that, no offense to people who want to be fixed, that's okay too.
Yeah.
I want to throw that out there. But to only focus on wanting to be fixed, I think ruins the beauty of what makes us who we are.
Yeah.
And in the case of you, getting your deafness fixed, so to speak, I think that would ruin a lot of what you've become as a person. Because
100%.
it would be like having a person from China who has never spoken English a day in their life, all of a sudden being pushed into America and alone and having to relearn how to talk and communicate and everything all at once. And not that people can't do it, of course they can't, but the thing is that do you want to? Do you want to have to completely remove that culture that you have created in order to quote unquote fit in with the masses?
Yeah. I mean, though I do joke about this with my family, I was like, well, you guys should be grateful that you gave birth to two deaf kids Because otherwise, I think if we stayed in Pennsylvania, we would have been white trash. Like, that's not true. I'm like, we're never gonna find out. But I think that's what would have happened.
I like that.
Is what I'm assuming what you have is genetic, hereditary? Was one of your
Yes,
parents
it
deaf?
is. Both of my, well, no one else in my family it had it except for me and my sister.
Okay.
But because my parents both had the recessive gene, that it was like 50-50 chance that it would happen. So,
Yeah.
but none of us found out about the vision part until I was 21.
Okay.
We didn't know any better.
It's kind of, I hadn't heard of it until probably like the last 3 to 5 years. Usher Syndrome, and just, so I didn't know what, I saw a commercial once and they were talking about it and I'm like, what is this?
With Rebecca Alexander.
Yeah, I think it was. I believe
Yeah.
it was her. And I was just like, what is this? I've never heard of this. And then I looked it up and I'm like, okay, well, this is frightening. And, you know, there's not much to it, though, which is what made it so frightening, was that there was just, you progressively go deaf or
Yeah, there's
and
like
lose your
so
sight.
there's so many types. There's like 3 main types, but I honestly don't fit in any of them. And then the variation of each, but there's no way for the doctor to be able to tell how quickly you would progress with losing your vision. Like my older sister, she is profoundly deaf, but her vision is actually pretty good, except she can't see here, like below her. While me, I was born hard of hearing in that time, but like now I'm considered profoundly deaf, but that was over like 30 plus years of like going downhill. But my vision, we only have about 20 years of record, so we don't know what my vision is like the first 20 years and how to document that. So there's no way for them to really 100% say, yes, you will completely lose your vision by this time. My doctor has said that it is likely that I will probably stay stable, but I will lose it as I get older, but I probably will never completely lose my vision, which gives me a peace of mind for sure.
Yeah.
So right now, your peripheral is what you can't see?
So my peripheral is about between 40 to 50 degrees around. So
Okay.
it's actually on the higher side of most people.
Okay.
Okay.
So like a lot of my friends are like probably like 10 or 20 degrees. So yeah, but I have been learning how to use a white cane, especially when I'm in public traffic, crowded places, because there have been way too many times where I run into people, it's not fun, or I run into the parking meter that like gives you a bruise on your shoulder. That kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's not fun. I've seen people, guys, walk into poles and end up talking
hurts.
much higher. Yes, and it does hurt. I've done it. I do it still. I've walked into my car, and even though I was going to my car.
Yeah, like I'll be like doing something and I don't have the depth perception sometimes, and then I like smack my face. But like learning to use a white cane has actually been fun and funny because the instructor is really cool. She has been doing this for 50 years and she has made it much easier. But man, you have to have rhythm to be able to use the cane. I'm like,
Yeah.
I suck. I do not have rhythm.
I did.
I don't either.
No, you don't. But I don't have much of it either. So I think I would have troubles. Like I can come up with a rhythm for myself, but if I have to follow somebody else's rhythm, I'm dead in the water.
Yeah. So you have to like count in your head, and it's like, all right, so if the cane is in my right hand, so if it's on the right side, your left foot moves forward. And then when you sweep it over to your left side, your right foot moves forward. But you have to be able to move it and then do all these other things if you're talking to a friend or something.
No.
That's a lot of like coordination.
Yes, I don't have
You
that.
know?
I have crutches, and I hate using them.
You're bad at using them.
Yes, I know I'm bad, but I have always been bad at using them because I cannot, for the life of me, coordinate my arms with my legs like that. I can't do that where they say, well, if you're going to use both arm crutches, you're supposed to do like opposite. I can't do that.
Yeah, our brain breaks. It's like your brain breaks. And it's like, it's one of those things where I think you do actually have to have specific training for it, which is why I am doing the training right now.
I think it's important.
And
It's fun.
And that's new to me. I did not know that there was so much involved in how the white stick is used and stuff like that. That's very interesting. I would guess there's a lot of people that don't realize it.
In March, we are going to go start practicing outside, and we're going to practice trying to cross the street, which, like, she shares some really interesting stories, and they've, like, tested what works on people stopping if you're at a crosswalk, and I'm just like, good Lord, I'm going to get killed doing this. But
You can do it. I believe in you.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
And it is amazing that how much coordination is needed in that. And just, I have problems with my proprioception already. And for those of you that may not know what that is basically kind of like the depth perception and understanding where your body is in relation to objects.
yeah.
And I'm terrible at that. There are walls that have never moved. And all of a sudden, they're right there.
Yep.
And
Does that mean you can't drive at night?
I can drive at night, but
I can't.
I probably, it would be better if somebody else drove, I would think. Because, like, for some reason, when I'm in the car, everything that is, like, proprioception and all that stuff, I don't have a problem with. But when I'm out of the car is when I will run into things, I will trip over air, things like that. And that's partially why I'm in a wheelchair, is because of, I whack my body constantly. And
That makes sense. You got to protect your body from more injuries. So I get that.
do I see a
My
kitty?
daughter- my dog just came
Doggy.
upstairs.
He's beautiful. She's so pretty. And so, like, just very, she knows that she's gorgeous. You could tell.
Oh, she does. She does. She rubbed it in our face like all the time. But you're not going outside, girl. There's a lot of snow out there.
Yep.
Yeah,
We've got that too.
our one dog is a Shih Tzu. We'll lose her in the snow if we just let her go out on her own, because the snow is so high here. She would just sink.
Well, right now, all our snow is ice. It is like ice, like rock solid.
Yep.
It is not fun at all. I'm just like,
And navigating ice when you're disabled is very hard sometimes when it's your legs.
like right now, the plows have done a horrible job. Like
Yes.
all the curb cuts are covered up, and it like literally makes me so livid because like it's not just in our community; it's like the main street intersection. But like the fact that I've been walking out there with my dog, we'll just like walk through the park on solid ice, and I'm like realizing this snow was rough. Like, because it was like 6 inches of snow, and then you had 3 inches of sleet on top of it.
Yep.
And so that all that pushed down, and it's been cold all week, below 20 degrees. So there's none of that melting. So I can understand the difficulty they have of getting people out of like plowing curb stuff. But in general, every snowstorm, for some reason, the plow always plowed the snow onto the curb cut. I'm like, why?
Yep.
Yeah, I wish I knew, because it is frustrating especially when you dig out the curb cuts and they put it right back.
Yep.
It's like, what the fuck? And my parents, like, their mailbox every year, I think it's like a tradition with the city that they're in. Every snowstorm, they end up plowing so much over that it knocks my parents' my mailbox over. And My mom said this year she thinks that the plowers were laughing because of that. But, and I wouldn't be shocked, honestly, because it's just the plower people. You know what? You're awesome for plowing the streets, but pay attention to the curb cuts. Pay attention to the mailboxes. We deserve to get mail and such.
So I have a question now. In normal weather, not necessarily in a foot of snow, what's one of your biggest complaints as far as accessibility is concerned, just kind of like out in the
That's a good
world?
question.
Normal circumstances, everything everything tends to rely on audio access. That is my biggest pet peeve in terms of why does it always have to be audio only? Plane announcements. You're in the airport, you're on a plane, everything is audio, and I'm like, when I'm on a plane, I have no idea what they're communicating at all. I just sit there and I'm like, okay, I hope this is gonna be a great trip, no drama or anything, but I don't have access to that communication. I don't know why planes have not been able to, with all this technology, be able to make sure that every single person gets access to that communication. And half the time, if I ask somebody, they're like, "Oh, I didn't really understand them."
Yeah,
It's true.
it is
You
true.
don't.
You can't understand most of what they say. They say it so fast, and then they're and you're trying to focus on what they're demonstrating, that a lot of times you miss what they're saying. And I wish there was a way, especially like you said, with all the technology, why can't they put it on the screens in front of us, what they're saying, and maybe slow it down, show a picture there and such, because it is difficult to understand them, especially if you're in the back. It's hard to hear them, and don't understand why everything is audio.
But one thing I do want to share is I also recognize that we still have to have audio access.
Yes.
We do have blind people that in this world that do rely on that. That's why I think the biggest thing is when you're thinking about access, is you need to think about it in many different ways. It can't just be one specific way that they can access something. It should be multiple ways.
Right.
But I personally think sign language in general, if I go over to Europe, I always enjoy meeting people, because even though you don't speak the same language, you're still able to communicate using sign language in a form. Even though I'm signing in American Sign Language, they might be gesturing. It's still, you get the concept of what they're saying.
Right.
Although if I try to do it here in the United States, people just freeze up and they're like, oh, she's deaf, I don't know what to do. And I'm just like, just get a piece of paper out or text on your phone. It's not the end of the world.
And then,
I'm not going to hurt you.
And then they just try to talk louder, like that's going to work.
I don't understand that. People, please, if somebody is hard of hearing, deaf, or is losing their hearing, yelling is not the first defense. It's not the first thing to do. If a person says specifically, can you yell in this ear because I can't hear, that's one thing. But don't assume that just because they're deaf, that means that if you yell louder, all of a sudden they're going to hear you.
Or they can read lips.
Right.
Right.
I hate it when people ask me if I can read lips. I'm just like, no.
I've tried. That is really fucking impossible.
Yeah, it's hard.
Some people, I can see it, and it makes sense. And then, I'm prefacing this because I have been learning sign language, and I've been starting to practice and things like that. And sometimes I can't quite see the gesture that they're making well enough. And so I try to read their lips, and that's no. And it's really there's this one person, the tongue just kind of looks like he's constantly doing an L sound. And I'm like, but that's not the sign that we're doing. And so, and I've tried to do it on TV shows. Some people, the way that they move their mouths, it's really, really easy to see what they're saying. Other people I don't know how they get words out of their mouth, but they don't even move, it seems like. And To make
Yeah.
people rely on lip reading is brutally unfair.
I know it's the worst. And I'm like, when people tell me, "Oh, can you read lip?" I'm like, I will do it and not produce any sound. And I'm like, "Did you understand me?" And they would be like, I'm like, exactly. Don't try to do it to me.
Yeah.
Because, and regionally, it also differs across the United States. If you're in the West Coast, the way just hearing people,
Accent.
the accent changes everything. And then the way that the accent is changes how you mouth words. And
Yeah.
so it's just like, I don't mouth Texan. So what did you say?
Yeah, it's funny because I was actually on using a relay service, and I usually voice for myself, but I have the interpreter interpreting for me on the other side. And this person was trying to get my state. I live in Maryland, and she was like, "Okay, what's your state?" I'm like, "Maryland," and she's like, "What?" I was like, and I just signed to an interpreter, and I was like, "Am I saying this right? Am I not?" And she's like, "No, you're saying it right." I'm like, "Okay, Maryland," and she's like, "Oh, Maryland," and I was just like, "Oh my god."
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, no, that's not how you say it. And she was like, "Oh, I hope I didn't offend you." I was like, "No, but I just want you to know we don't say Maryland.
Yeah.
Like, we just don't."
That's what you say when you're trying to spell it as a kid.
Right. Yeah.
It's just like it's not Illinois, it's Illinois. The S is
Yeah.
silent at the end. It's not Maryland. It's not Virgin Aya or anything like that.
I have not heard that one. That's funny. That's funny. That's pretty funny. That's funny.
And so, well, I just kind of made that up. I've never heard anybody say Virgin Aya, but I'm
They
sure
probably have.
there probably has been somebody there. But it's Virginia, it's Maryland, it's Texas, not Texas or anything like that. Don't add syllables to words that don't need syllables. I mean, it's bad enough.
To be fair, the English language is very complicated.
Yes, it
Yes,
is.
it is.
It is ridiculously complicated. I would argue that it is one of the hardest languages to learn for not only those of us who are native to it, but it's hard for people who don't speak it to learn it. Because of this, we have so many words that are spelled the exact same that mean totally different things, depending upon either whether or not they're pronounced the same or pronounced differently. And then the I before E except after C crap, and except in these words, and maybe over here too. And it's just like English is a
Yeah,
pain.
I always joke that I feel like hearing people stuck at spelling because you all rely so much on the sound of spelling, while I've always had to like read words and be able to spell it and just know how to spell it. So I'm like, I'm a fabulous speller. But I find it really funny sometimes that I'm just like, wow, see my nieces who are 15 and 17, sometimes they write something. I'm like, what is that word? And they'll say it. And I was like, that is nothing like how you wrote it. They're like, oh, really?
Yes.
Did your husband know sign language when you met him, or did he learn it to help?
No, he did not know sign language. It was really funny because when we first met over 20 years ago, yeah, he was hot. He's like half Cuban, half black. So he's very
He's got good.
yeah, very hot, very sexy. And I could not understand him. He had the Jersey accent.
Oh God, I am
No,
so
it was
sorry.
like,
Yeah, the Jersey
oh my
accent.
God.
Yes.
But he sounded good. I just couldn't understand him. So no, now I'm used to it, and he dropped most of that accent, but it comes back on when he's hanging out with his boys. But yeah, so he's had to learn sign language for me for sure. But that had taken time. He makes up his own signs. I'm like, okay, that sign makes total sense too. So, but yeah, that was funny because I always say I could not understand him when we first. So like, then why did you continue to date him? I'm like, well, he's hot, so why wouldn't I?
Yeah. Duh. Hotness equals better than if they talk.
Yeah,
No, I understand that the Jersey accent it's unique, like
Very
unique. It has a little bit of New York, but it also has a little bit of I'm confused and a little bit of what am I trying to say all in once.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah, I mean, I lived there for 18 years of my life, so I do know the Jersey accent.
Yeah.
And then, but mine tends to, when I get tired or annoyed, mine goes southern because I did live in Virginia and Texas for a long time. I also lived in Maryland. So,
No, you lived in Maryland.
oh yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. I lived in Maryland. Named for Queen Mary. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of a mixture of all of that together. And
That's fun.
sometimes I don't even understand what I'm saying because it comes out really bad.
Well, let me tell you, the auto caption you pretty damn well.
Awesome.
So,
I try hard to make sure that I speak as clearly as possible because I've always hated it when I've had to ask people, what did you just say? Multiple times. And so I always feel bad. So I want to make sure that I'm as clear as possible.
My parents told me I mumbled all the time when I was a kid.
You did.
So I tried very hard not to mumble.
You do still.
yeah. So like I just did a voiceover for one of my videos yesterday, but I did not do the voiceover with my hearing aids on. So when I transcribed it, I definitely had to like edit it because it wasn't great. Because like one of the biggest, this is like the way the speech, I cannot exactly pronounce the S sound. Like it doesn't come across really well. Like a lot of times, even if I'm saying something plural, the S sound drops because I just can't like pronounce it. So of course, Successable is one of the hardest words, and I'm like, and it's my product.
I think
And
it's
the caption can't even get it right.
the caption's stupid, but it sounds fine to me. I can hear it. It's clear. And
But like I've always been told I have an accent. I'm just like, whatever. It's a deaf accent, but whatever.
I guess, I mean, sure.
I know it's so fascinating, but I guess I'm just glad that most people can understand me. It's just the captioning don't pick me up very well.
I mean, to me, you sound like a deaf person talking. And I've heard other deaf people talk, and they have this similar, I guess you would call it an accent, but I don't think of it as an accent.
No.
It just, it's a speech pattern more so than an accent.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because
Was learning to speak once your hearing went any different, or because you already knew how to speak, it didn't change anything?
Well, because I was born deaf, so I had to learn how to speak. But I also feel like because I've lost more of my hearing, that like I can't always hear what I'm saying. So for the longest time, like if I couldn't hear myself, I would never speak. Like I would just be like, nope, not speaking. But now I'm used to it. But the biggest thing for me is I'm also not always able to tell where my volume is. Like sometimes it's really annoying when my husband or my younger sister would be like, "You're talking too loud." Like, and I'm just like, "Joe," and the way they do it makes me feel embarrassed. I'm like, I can't hear myself talk. So like, sorry, but like not trying to embarrass you, but deal with it.
exactly.
Wow. Yeah.
I have a tendency I'll go through periods where I cannot hear myself talk. And like, I know I'm talking, but it's like, it's not registering. I can't hear it. And I will get loud, like really New Jersey loud. New Jersey Italian loud sometimes.
And then like Michael was like, shh.
Yes.
Yep, I do
Every
that.
time. And I feel bad because it's like, it's just a part of me, and I can't always help that I get excited
Yeah,
or
that's
things
how
like that.
I feel too.
Yeah.
That's how it feels. Like, okay, so we live with it. They
Yeah.
deal with it.
It-
Well,
They have to deal with it because they don't have a choice. If they want to be with hot chicks like us, they have to deal with it.
Exactly.
I love it. Love it. Love it.
We are running out of time.
Oh, man.
So, unfortunately, we got to start to wrap it up. Do you want to let people know where or when your program's coming out and what to expect of that? Where to find it?
Sure. And they land on www.mabely. It's MabelyQ.com. They will be able to see access to the tool that will like lead them there. I'm sure I'll have a different website by the time this podcast comes out. But MabelyQ is basically my entire business. Successable is the name of the product. So, and you can follow me on Instagram and Thread at the same name. And I just like have fun talking about it. And yeah, that's where you can find me. I'm an open
Excellent.
book as well.
Thank you so
Yes,
much.
thank you for
And
joining us
I
today.
can't wait for it to come out because I would love to see it and use it, and because I do our wheelchair. Oh my God, I do our website, and I would love to be able to use that to see where, and even just your input as a graphic designer, where I could fix it and make it better, and things like that. That would be awesome.
Well, definitely, I will send you the link to the video that
Mm-hmm.
I just did today, and you can like watch the preview, see the demo, and then make your decision.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, thank you both for having me on your podcast.
Anytime.
Definitely keep in touch.
Definitely.
Yes, for sure.
Yes. Thank you.
All right, have a good night, guys.
You too. Have a good night.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Othering Podcast by Mike and Dory. Please like and follow us on all of your favorite social media.
The Othering Podcast is produced by LoudCore Productions, graphics by Josh, and music by Jordy James.